Alright, so Spirit Dive is officially out, and we have a lot of leaks on upcoming pickups and future seasonals. Alright, so we're going to talk about that, but I also want to talk a bit about updates that we got right now that are really good. Alright, so is this going to come to global? Nothing's confirmed as for the quality of life updates, but okay, the quality of life updates most likely, but there's one in specific that we'll talk about very quickly, and then we'll get into the leaks. Alright, so I'll put timestamps. If not, the minute you see on the scroll wheel Discord, that means I get into leaks, right? So anyway, Spirit Dive came out. He is very good in my opinion. I will need more testing to be sure because I've been wrong in the past. But especially with this account, it's looking very good. So a little quality of life that they've added. One, actually, well, I'll just start with this. Gear, they added new gear sets. So now there's 5 gear sets in one stage. This, I think, is kind of bad, but the gear sets are still pretty good. Now, the other thing is that there's a lot more team presets. So we can see that there's 10 team presets. Okay. Besides that, there is 20 gear presets. And in arena, you're actually able to get team presets. Like you could have 5. There's 5 presets. So I think this is honestly really good little things that overall are really nice. Now, next up, let's go into the tavern. The tavern, what is it? The hideout, not the tavern. Why did I say the tavern? I was thinking of Grand Cross. So if we go here, and we go to what's the name, Gray, you're gonna see that there is now these shiny talent stones. Where's it? Okay, so honestly, I'm not like the hugest fan because it is very rough because you need 3 purples. Now the thing is, on JP it's a lot better because you're also able to make greens to make yellow, so it's much better. Now the problem with it, there's 2 things. So you're able to, how it works is that the purple versions, the shiny versions, take 3, but you're able to get 2 out of the 3 substats, or 2 out of the 3 stats. So as we know, there for attack, there is attack and magic attack, there's crit damage, and then there's accuracy. Well, in the shining ones, you're able to get attack and magic attack, and one of the two 50% chance, either crit damage or accuracy. You're able to get crit damage, and then attack and magic attack or accuracy. And then you're able to get accuracy, and then also attack, magic attack, and then crit damage. Now, why it's also really good? Let's see. Okay, how many do I have? Oh, I'm missing 2. So we're gonna do this right now just to kind of explain or just show you how it works. So if I get 2 more of the accuracy ones, so let's say you have really bad ones, right? Just for example, like this, right? You have your accuracy talents and you don't really want it, right? So on JP, what you could do is if you have 3 purple ones of one of the bad ones, for example, let's say you don't want endurance, or you don't really care for HP, or want HP with something else, or you have accuracy in this case. Well, I craft the accuracy shining, and then now it's accuracy plus attack and magic attack, which is insane. All right, that is insane. And what else it does? If we go into here, this is the next part. So you're now able, if we put it, I'm gonna take this off of for a little bit. So if we go with the shining one, what you're able to do now is choose 2 of whichever ones you want. So, for example, if I want this slot to be something else, I would be able to change it. And what this helps is magic attack users, because magic attack is squished between crit rate and boss damage. So that's why having these 2 is way better. But yeah, you're now able to have 2 out of the 3 stats. Now, personally, I do rather crit damage on but it was just a pretty good example to actually show. So why this is also really good, like imagine this. For the greens especially, all 3 are good. All 3, right? You could get speed with HP, speed with crit res. You could get crit res with speed, crit res with HP. It's a nice update for JP because of how it works. And actually, they have increased the rates at least slightly to get more of the engravements. And there's also yellows. There is yellows too. So on JP, it's a pretty cool update. I actually do really like it. Now, since we're talking about JP, remember, not everything, we don't know what's coming. So they actually are giving a free Fest multi. So you get 1 crystal multi, and then you get a Fest multi. Now, we've talked about it last time too, but you're able to get yellows and purples, which now, because of the fact of this great update, this is a lot better, right? Being able to get this. So very nice of them to actually do that. And then in total, you're getting 2 multis from that. And then finally, story. Every story chapter now on JP, or at least for these 2, what they're going to do is give 6 tickets plus 1,000 crystals, which is nice. So yeah, no, pretty good updates overall. I'm actually very happy with the talent update now that I'm like kind of looking at it. I think it's pretty cool. Is it amazing? No, but I'm happy that it's not like speed plus 4, so there is that. Now we could kind of get into what I did want to talk about, which are the leaks, which is going to be very, very cool. All right, so now we do have some pretty big leaks to talk about. I think personally, a lot of people will probably be excited with what we're going to talk about. Now, we have the official confirmation, basically. Not official, but you know what I mean. Like, this basically 100% confirms that Noelle and Kahona will be the next units. And I think these are going to be party units. I don't think this is ceremony. This more looks like party. So yeah, these are the skill pages for the units. I think Noelle actually looks pretty good. They do the men very well in these for the skill pages. Like Williams also looked really well. And then a bit lackluster. I think there's not much like shine or anything. I don't know. This one looks a lot cleaner in my opinion. But these are very good picks because obviously we have neither of the two as units already. So that's something quite important if we're really considering it because, I mean, well, we need seasonal variety. And here we have it. So let's actually find the kits and talk about it before going on to anything else. I do remember Noelle being more interesting. So let's talk about Noelle. He should be a DPS. So let's talk about it. Alright, so if X or fewer instances of Mercury are present on self, there is a X% chance to inflict poison damage on enemy for X turns. If there are more than a certain amount of Mercury stacks on self, inflicts continuous poison damage on an enemy for X turns. So if you have more than a certain amount of Mercury, you guarantee put poison. If not, you only have a chance. So what Mercury does is at the start of the turn takes X% of current HP as damage. Seems like that's for Noelle himself, which is a very interesting way to go about it, making a unit damage himself. It's going to definitely depend if he could heal himself. So let's continue reading. Now, skill 2 is an AoE. If there are X or fewer instances of Mercury on self, inflicts disarm on an enemy. Now, if X or more instances of Mercury are present on self, inflicts disarm level X on an enemy for X turns. So my guess is that the higher, if you have more Mercury stacks, then you're going to have a higher level disarm, which reduces the damage that they do. Now, because it's AoE, this would mean that everyone is getting this debuff. And then you also remove X buffs on a designated enemy, and then inflict buff duration, reduce buff duration by X turns on all enemies. This is a very strong skill. Okay, removing buffs is something that pierces through debuff block, and it's on a single enemy, but you could get all the buffs removed and basically just instant target them. So I think this skill instantly makes Noelle very strong. Even if they don't have debuff immunity, you will be getting the remove buffs on whoever you want to choose, and that is very good. Okay, now the ult. What it puts is attacks after inflicting immortality immunity on an enemy. So you're going to apply the immortality immunity and then you're going to attack, which means that even if they would normally get to immortality phase, they will not, which is super strong. And then upon killing an enemy using an ult, inflicts X% of magic attack as extra damage on all enemies based on the instances of Mercury inflicted on self. It depends how many instances we could get, so let's look a bit further afterwards. But this could be good if it's like 20, I would say maybe like 30 to 40% per stack, depending on how many you could get, could be good, right? And then grant self Mercury removal, so after this, you're going to not take any more damage. So at the start of a turn, inflicts Mercury on self. At the start of every turn is interesting. I'm going to guess, okay. Well, I think that 1 per turn is okay, but it won't help him with the damage here. But I think just this skill is enough to carry his kit for the most part, in my opinion. Now, his do passives is he converts all instances of DOT into Mercury. Okay, so instantly that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. That's how he's going to get a lot of extra damage on his ult. It's the dupe 2. Now, the dupe 5 I don't like. Just nullifying Mercury damage, they have to add something else. They really do. Or they have to make him, because he's more of a DPS, right? You look at it, getting the damage here. Immortality immunity is very strong for DPS. Removing buffs, right? Like, what he's doing is stuff you could definitely see on a DOT, but also maybe a debuffer, but I'm seeing a DOT, a damage dealer in my head. I said DOT. I meant to say attacker or damage dealer. I'm sorry. I don't know what I was going for there. So yeah, then combo just puts poison, and then if dot is not present on self upon taking damage, there's a chance to inflict the X% increased damage taken debuff on an enemy. So this might mean he's a debuffer, but we'll have to see. Obviously, kits change. But my guess is really that he'll be an attacker. And I think he'll be very good. Mainly for this skill too. But this Mercury, it's just going to be very interesting. We'll have to see how it plays. But overall, I don't think he'll be bad. I really want him to be blue. Because we just need more blue units. But overall, he wouldn't really fit on mono green right now. We just got, there's no space for him on mono green. And mono red either, I don't see it. So mono blue, they have to start building up with a new type of team. But overall, I do like this Noelle. Now next up, this Kahona. Alright, so she is a supporter. Okay, no heals it seems, but she's a supporter doing a bunch of damage stuff, which in my opinion is going to make her very good for PvE related bosses. So we'll have to see. Now, skill 1 grants an X% increased attack buff to the ally with the highest attack. Now the problem with that is there's no attack unit who's attacking this game that's good. I don't really get why this is even out. In my opinion, if it's attack, it means that it might actually be Green Yami, which we're gonna be. Well, she's gonna try and be buffing, so maybe she'll be green. Now, skill 2 buffs an ally, having a chance to grant extended buff duration. Now, at max level, this will probably be a 100% chance to grant an ally extended buff duration, which is good. Increased attack, and then gives opening aria. Now, it's working similarly to how Kyoto's buff works in that sense, I guess, where every single opening aria buff gives you increased penetration, crit damage, okay, and then once you get 5 instances, it seems, of open aria, it becomes Festival Aria, where you get penetration, crit damage, and increased damage dealt, which is a very good buff to have on units. Just the amount of stuff this could give, and also because it could stack alongside other stuff, is going to be very good for nuking and whatnot. Now, Ultimate grants mobility increase to all allies. Oh, no, sorry. Grants self-mobility increase. That's interesting. Everyone gets crit rate, and everyone gets opening aria. Now, everyone getting opening aria is kind of mid, so I would also really like for there to be damage reduction in this at the very least, because some people on the team will not need the crit rate or crit damage or the penetration. So I think that they should maybe revamp this a little bit, or at least revamp how opening aria works. Maybe have pen, crit damage, and then damage reduction. We'll have to see, but I think that it's whatever, right? Her ult isn't really that good. I don't like. If the mobility was on everyone, it could be very strong, but it isn't, right? So that's the main thing. She'll be good for one unit, but even at that, like, she gives, okay, crit rate, crit damage and pen here, okay, attack, and then that's kind of it for damage stuff, right? Now, passive. Upon taking damage from an attacker, grants an X% increased damage dealt buff to the ally with the highest attack for X turns. It's actually very good, right? Especially because Spirit Dive has an AoE that you just give an increased damage dealt buff to the DPS on your team. Very good. Now, do passive. Upon taking damage, grants opening aria to the ally with the highest attack. Okay. That's actually good. That's really good. You could stack these opening aria buffs really easily with that. Oh my god. And then when using an ult, grants 1 extra instance of opening aria to a designated ally, which I think they could maybe put a bit more. But if this dupe 5 does also give speed, then I'm fine with that. Because I'm going to guess she's a supporter, right? We look at it, she's a supporter, so there's that. So her combo gives attack and then also giving the chance to stun. Just quite a lot, right? Now, what her Grimoire skill on skill 2 gives is grant an SP plus X buff, and that's on an AoE skill, which is actually going to be very good. So it leads me to believe she'll be green. I don't see her being blue, because we already have a blue Kohono, but we'll see. And then Grimoire passive, when you take damage from an attacker, grants an X% increased favored damage dealt buff to the ally with the highest all attack. So she's going to be giving every type of attack debuff, basically, besides all attack and magic attack. So I really feel like there has to be an attack DPS coming at some point. And if not, what is she being built off of? So they might change this to magic attack. And if they do, then I think Kohono is going to be saved and just be very good for the long run. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of these two. I think they're actually going to be quite good. I think Noelle is going to need a bit of time to build up with other units in the future. I don't think he's just some unit that they're dropping. I think that we're going to get some more stuff depending on what he is. Now, Kohono, I think if there's a couple changes, she could actually be quite good. In game, these units are going to look really good. I think Kohono, I love the Kohono effects for the first one, and I think they could go crazy for the second one. So now let's go to the other stuff. Now, we have Dorothy basically confirmed. So she'll probably come to JP in the next like 3 or so months. So it would have to be in April or then June. So it's the only 2 time slots because in May it is a fest unit. So we'll have to see, but Dorothy's a really interesting unit to actually pick for this, and I think that we might, I think she would probably be a supporter or debuffer. I would hope debuffer. It's been a little bit since we've gotten a good debuffer, and I could see Dorothy being a kind of a fan favorite. But the last debuffer was Zora, but he works more as like a debuffer who's there to do damage, right? Before that was what? Oh my god. Season 5 Noelle and Golden Dawn, those were the last debuffers. Unless I'm missing something. I don't think so. I think those are the last ones. So, well, if Nozelle's a debuffer, that would make sense. But also we got Dorothy, who could be a debuffer, but also just could be a supporter. So that and that works together. So, there we go for that. I mean, a lot of people are going to like Dorothy. She should not be a fest unit, by the way. I just don't see it. So there we go. But no, she looked great. She does look great. We've had this art in the game since literally beta of November 2022. So that's crazy. That is kind of crazy. But now we have all the arts. We have the skill page. Looks good. The skin, actually, this one looks really good too. I'm going to run this. It gives me, what's her name? Farina vibes from Genshin. I don't know what it is, but like if you change your hair color, change the colors a bit, and it will give me Farina vibes or just Fontaine vibes, right? Now last up, okay, we got the Valkyrie Noelle icons. Now, quick thing, right? We were thinking, or a lot of people, I mean, now we're thinking like Valk has to be blue, right? We haven't had a blue fest since season 3, and we're on the season 11 now in JP. It's been 8 seasons, and blue's in a bad position right now. It's only mono red and mono green thriving. But now, I mean, the thing is, we just got a blue Noelle. We just got a healer blue Noelle, and are they going to release 2 blue Noelles in a row? That's going to be the big question. And also a month and a half apart. Is it two? No, no, sorry, my bad. It's still in Noelle's still in 2 months, so more than 2 months apart. But they could make her blue, but just because of that fact, I'm a bit scared. Now, one thing that's also making me scared is this. To me, this is a buffing or barrier skill. And my problem, if she's a supporter unit, I would be happy. Because they could easily make her a supporting unit who does great damage dealing, right, over time. Not like DLT, I just mean like she'll be doing very good damage, right? And this being a barrier is a bit scary, okay? Having the barrier meta maybe come back, having maybe blocking the ability to remove barriers. I could see Noelle doing that because she would be the first anniversary unit on JP. And yeah, I really hope that this is not a barrier skill. But if Vanilla does manage to crack the encryption, we'll be able to see. And then see Dragon Ultimate. So I think this is pretty cool, right? Valkyrie is coming next, basically. This kind of confirms it. And there's a lot more stuff. But the rest of the stuff is a lot of stuff that is kind of basically scrapped. For the most part, that just was added for some reason. But for everything we do have, I think it is pretty good. And I'm just scared if this is a barrier. I don't know. Now, would she be red or blue? She's not green, for sure. They're not doing 3 green fests in a row. But I think right now, like, we're kind of... I would like to say she's red, but I also would like to say she's blue, just because certain things point to one thing, certain things point to another. So we'll have to see. I think this is going to be quite interesting. But right now, in my mind, there's a 50-50 chance between blue or red happening. Just because our last Noelle was a blue Noelle. And our last red Noelle was a season 2 Noelle. So we'll have to see. But anyway, that's it for today's video. Do you guys think Noelle and Cajono are good? Are you hyped for Dorothy? And do you think that Noelle is going to be good or not? Let me know.